Northwest Vietnamese News. Julie is marketing manager at Viet Technologies and co-owner of the newspaper, Seattle's largest Vietnamese language newspaper. She's also worked as a brand evangelist for Microsoft's Windows Phone and as managing editor for the Northwest Vietnamese News, as well as managing editor at the Journal of Vietnamese Studies. And she's also been a lecturer at the UC Berkeley History Department. In 2010, she started a capacity building program for local ethnic media called CBs, which was sponsored by New America Media and the City of Seattle's Department of Neighborhoods. She received New America Media and Atlantic Philanthropy's Ethnic Elders Journalism Fellowship in 2010, placed second in social issues writing from the Society of Professional Journalists in 2011, and was named to the 40 under 40 list by the Puget Sound Business Journal in 2011. She earned her PhD in history at the University of Cambridge as a Gates Cambridge Scholar, and most recently she started blogging for Forbes.com. Look out for her blog. It's titled Business Without Borders. Please welcome Julie. Hello, hello. So just to get a sense of who's here tonight, could you raise your hand if you are a journalist? And just journalist defined as blogger, print, TV, radio. Okay, great. That means that everyone else supports journalism or is supporting someone who is crazy enough to become a journalist, right? Thank you for being here. I know that it means a lot to the Asian American Journalists Association and to supporting future journalists. I'm really excited to be here because I'm just surrounded by amazing, smart people. And I just think that we as journalists, we have a lot of enviable traits, of enviable skills. We're aggressive, we're tenacious, we know how to work well under pressure. We know how to take complex ideas and distill them into compelling stories that move our audiences. And then we also have this other skill, talent, some people would even call it a gift, that really distinguishes our industry. But we take it for granted, actually, because it comes so easily to us. And we underestimate the impact that it can make on our personal lives. And that's the ability to ask questions. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can ask questions. Not everyone can ask them the follow-up question. And then the next question. And it's not just about knowing what to ask, it's knowing how to ask, it's knowing when to ask. And most importantly, it's daring to ask in the first place. So I want to pose a question tonight. How many of you have thought about how you use that gift in your personal life? There are many ways to tap into this talent. Tonight I'm just going to share 3 ways that I use it. So first, I ask questions so that I can come off a lot smarter than I actually feel. Second, I will ask questions so that I don't feel so awkward when talking to strangers. And third, I ask questions so that I can live a life with integrity and with passion. First, ask questions so that I can come off smarter than I sometimes feel. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of pressure actually that comes with having a PhD from Cambridge. People expect you to be smart all the time. They expect you to say intelligent things all the time. And there are a lot of times I don't have anything smart to say. And I'm just, I don't know. But I just discovered a trick, which is, if you ask a lot of questions, and they should be pretty decent questions, if you ask a lot of questions, and you get the person that you're talking to share whatever they're passionate about, share their knowledge, then they actually get the impression that you are smart. And they leave feeling good about themselves. Second, to ask questions has helped me to converse with anyone, strangers, and just it helps take away the awkwardness that I feel when I don't know someone. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of us have been in situations where we don't know people, and we're just, we're going to start this conversation. So actually what I do is I put on my reporter hat, and I just pretend that I'm interviewing them. And it makes them feel good, because it makes them feel like I think that they are the most fascinating person ever. So So I did this experiment once. I don't know if many of you would admit to this, but how many have ever done speed dating? Okay, no one. Lori's raising her hand. I don't know how you feel about that, Larry. Well, I did it it was a fundraising event. I only did it once. And for those of you who don't know how it works, there's a group of guys and there's a group of girls, and people rotate, and you've got a set period of time for how much you have a conversation. And so this was about 5 minutes, and there were 20 candidates. And I just, how am I gonna, those are a lot of mini conversations. But I started to make it into a game because I realized that people love to talk about themselves. So I started to see, like, how long could I actually get people, guys, to talk about themselves if I would just ask them questions before they would ask me a question. And I gotta tell you, it was, then you have to do a little better. Asking the return question. Third, by asking questions, I get to live a life of integrity, and I get to do what I want with passion. As journalists, we are often asking others questions. But sometimes we have to be reminded that we need to ask ourselves the questions. People often ask me, well, how did you go from being a historian to going into journalism and being a small business owner to working in technology marketing? How do you do that? And it's because I asked myself this question at multiple points in my life, which is this it? And that was followed by, is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to live? So in 2008, I was finishing up my dissertation in history, and everyone expected me to then apply for the postdoc fellowships and for professorial positions. And I was just dreading it. I realized I didn't want to be an academic. Yeah. And then I kind of looked inside myself, and I asked, is this it? Is this what I want? And the answer was no. I like being a grad student. Being a grad student is fun. You get to get paid to study and travel. But I didn't want to go into academia. So I decided to return to Seattle and help my family with our Vietnamese newspaper, which my parents started in 1986, and to learn about business firsthand, because that's what I realized I wanted to do. I wanted to do business. So fast forward 2009, I worked at the newspaper. At that point I was at the newspaper for about a year, and it was day in, day out, same grind, and working alongside my parents and my 2 younger brothers. And I thought, do I really want to just learn about business through working with my parents and doing this? Is this what I want? Is this it? And I talked about it with my brother, and said, no, I don't want to just work at the newspaper. I want to own the newspaper. And that's how I'm going to learn about running a business. And so my brother and I took out a microloan. The collateral was his Toyota 4Runner. And we bought the Tuesday edition of the newspaper. At that time, it was printed twice a week. Then, in 2011, we built the newspaper up. Actually, it was pretty successful considering it was a really tough time. It still is a tough time for print newspapers. And we built a lot of relationships, great relationships with our colleagues in ethnic media. But I knew that we pretty much maxed out our capacity to grow, considering the size of our local Vietnamese community. And I was pretty much kind of reaching that point where I don't think I'm going to learn that much more in this business. And I knew that if I really wanted to learn about business, I would have to move to a bigger company. And so I asked myself, is this it? Is this what I want to do? And it was no. And that's when I found a position at Microsoft, and then later on at Viet. And I've been able to do all of this, be able to ask these questions and then answer truthfully because of one person in the audience tonight. He has always been there for me, offering unconditional love and support. He's been my biggest role model and mentor and teacher and hero. And that's my father, Kim Pham. He's the founder and publisher of Northwest Giddings News. He's also been the one who's trying to get me to take pictures with all of the celebrity reporters in the room. There are lots of them too, so we'll make our way to you. And that's what's really enabled me to do what I've done. And as journalists, we pride ourselves on asking others the hard questions, don't we? We do. Like, oh, we're good. We know how to ask questions. But we often forget that we have to ask ourselves the hard questions. And we also have to surround ourselves with those who will love us and support us no matter what the answer is. So tonight is the beginning of the Lunar New Year, Year of the Snake. Go home, and think about whether you're a journalist or not, what those tough questions are that you haven't been asking yourself, and really just ask yourself. And Happy New Year. Thank you.